Hey there, superstar. In this video, I'm going to share how to structure and sell a virtual group coaching program. And this will be part one of two parts. Little overview of what we're going to be doing. First, I'm going to talk about some of the key questions to consider before you start. We're going to dive into how to design and structure, and then later we'll get into how to market and sell your virtual group online coaching program. Finally, we'll also talk about delivery. So I'm going to share all this in the structure of 7 or maybe 8 different steps that I recommend you take. First, let's talk a little bit about why you might even want to do a virtual group coaching program. Well, besides the obvious that you want to broaden your audience and be able to work with more people than you have access to in your geographic zone wherever you live and work, also, virtual group coaching offers the opportunity to create leverage. And leverage gives you the opportunity to scale. Leverage is basically having smaller inputs and generating bigger outcomes. Another reason you might want to consider a virtual group coaching program, which is kind of related to the first one, is that when you bring people together, there's magic in the group that you could never deliver on your own. A lot of coaches have this belief, and I know I used to have this belief, that I was the source of all the magic. Meaning that we have to kind of carry our clients on our shoulders, and that clients need us, and that we are supposed to have all the answers, or at least all the good questions to help our clients get ahead. Now, I operated that way in my coaching business for several years before I finally launched a group program. And now I can tell you that 8 years into my group program, it has gotten bigger and easier. Why? Because a big part of what's happening is that the group is now supporting each other. I'll give you an example. This past weekend, I was at the National Speakers Association Winter Conference. I was deeply embedded into that event. I had a speaking slot on the stage. I was totally focused on that. Meanwhile, there was a lot of stuff going down in my virtual group coaching program. And because we have a forum for people to connect, they were posting their issues, their challenges, their questions, and other people were jumping in and supporting them, and I didn't have to do that. So as you're looking at designing your program, one thing I want to just remind you of is remember to leverage the magic that's in the group and not to overproduce your program. And we'll talk about this when we get into the design piece. Not to overproduce your program or to oversell your own role in it. I know that there's a tendency, especially as we bring up the level of our target audience and we serve a higher level person who wants a group program or a mastermind or something like that, we might think that we have to deliver more, that we have to do more of the heavy lifting. And I invite you to consider that it could be quite the opposite. And this can be very counterintuitive. The better the people in the group that you bring in, the more you can rely on the group to develop and cultivate the magic so that you don't have to. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have a really important role in this. You do. When you develop a group coaching program, virtual or otherwise, your role is to lead the program. That means setting the standards, holding the boundaries, and making sure that every single person is a right fit and is living up to the values that you're setting for this community. Or rather, I like to call it a culture. All right, so let's talk about the specific steps. Now in this video, I'm not gonna get through all of the steps. That's why it's a 2-part series. I'm gonna start with the first few steps, and then depending on where we end up there, the next video will have the second half of the steps. You ready? Let's go. Now, before I get into the actual steps, the first 3 steps, I do wanna invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and maybe post a comment below about what your idea is. The first thing to consider as you're putting together your program, and probably the most important piece of any group program, are the people. The people matter because in a group program, again, you want to leverage the magic that's in the group. If you are the source of all the magic, the people don't matter because they all look to you for all the answers. But in a group program where you're wanting to create leverage and more value, it is essential who are the people you're going to bring in. And one of the challenges that I see with a lot of coaches, not all of them, but a lot of them, they operate sometimes from the energy of scarcity. that they have to take on every client, that they have to serve everybody that wants them to serve them. And so what I invite you to consider is that in this type of model, the people matter, and I would look at raising the standards and really looking at an aspirational avatar, an aspirational target audience, like leaders and people who are already at the top of their game. You know, a lot of times coaches want to serve truly the lowest common denominator, and I get that. My opinion, just my opinion, is that it's better to serve that audience with books, with courses, with do-it-yourself type of programs that force them to get empowered, that force them to bring themselves up, and maybe even give them some sort of accountability coaching, like for example, hiring an accountability coach and helping and creating some like a lower tier program that's more automated, that's more leveraged, that you have more team members working on. But to do an online virtual coaching program that you're leading, I highly recommend aiming higher and really looking at that 20% of your audience that's going to be really willing not only to show up and do the work, but also to show up generously and provide and add value. Because what you want is to start building a community of people who are generously adding value to each other so that you can take on more of that leadership role, cultivating the community rather than individual coaching every single one of these clients. Make sense? The second thing you'll want to look at is the problems that this virtual coaching program will solve, this virtual group program will solve. What do these people have that's keeping them up at night? What is the problem that they know they want the solution to? And let me make a distinction here, because a lot of times we as coaches know the problems that they don't know they have. So when we later in this topic get into promotion and selling your program, we'll talk a little bit about solving the problem they don't know they have. But here we want to especially look at the problem they know and actively are looking for a solution to, a problem that they know and that they keep quiet, the hidden problem that they know they have. Usually that's some sort of emotional issue about the problem. So for example, if the people that you're targeting are high-level executives and the problem they know they have is they want more success, more achievement, but the hidden problem is that they feel like an imposter and they suffer from lack of confidence and imposter syndrome, then you also want to look at the unknown problem that they don't even know they have. Oh, well, as a coach, you might know that they have limiting beliefs that come from their childhood, that they had some sort of wounding experience when they were 7 years old, yada, yada, right? Subconscious patterns, mindset blocks, all this type of stuff. Definitely don't want to lead with that because a lot of times they don't even know they have that problem, so they won't resonate with it. So you want to understand the 3 tiers of problems, and generally speaking, you want to market to this problem while addressing this problem and then teaching them about this problem. All right, so I'm not going to go deep into that. We're going to talk more about that in the promotional part, which will probably end up in video 2. Now, the third thing you'll want to look at as you're designing your online virtual group coaching program is the possibilities. In the past, I used to focus on the problems and the pain points. And what I found is that when I only focused on this, I ended up with an audience that was in a lot of pain. And sometimes it was hard to help them get out of that. What I invite you to consider is, yes, focus on this and also look at this. What's the possibility that they want, that they can possibly see? And you're going to use this later in your promotions. Can you paint the picture of what would it look like to overcome these problems and paint the picture of what the possibility beyond that, once they've solved those problems, what's available to them? So for example, in that when I gave you that example earlier about these high-level executives that are wanting to get ahead, achieve more, have more success, and what's in the way, they feel like an imposter, what's in the way, some limiting beliefs, what's the possibility that's on the other side of that? Like once they overcome their limitations and what's in their way by virtue of your program, what's available might be that they get more promotions, that they find that their teams listen to them more, that they step more into leadership, right? That they become the kind of leader that other people follow and listen to and are influenced by. So what is it? Paint the picture of what they would want. so that you can work this into your promotions. Now, if you're someone who's looking to create a group coaching program, online or offline, I do both, I may be able to help. Let me know if you're looking for some support. I have a page on my website, superstaractivator.com/go, where you can sign up for a discovery call with me and or find out about my programs and services. I look forward to connecting with you and wish you all the luck.